name's Chris Allen, and this is the Chris Allen MMA Show. This is our debut show that we're having on today, and honestly, I've been looking forward to doing my own show. I've interviewed many fighters out there, and I'm absolutely honoured for the first show to have local fighter and gym owner, Mr. Rory Crawford. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Pleasure. Good yourself?
Yeah, really good. Well, I think I'm the same as everyone else, mate. A little bit bored at the moment, to be fair. We're all stuck in lockdown.
Crazy times, mate. Crazy. Who would have thought it?
Great, no, mad. Look how much power this has done to everyone. It's literally made everyone stay at home. Like, that's some serious power.
Well, I think a lot of people underestimated it, to be honest with you. Me, myself included, a lot of people didn't realise how dangerous or, how bad this was going to be. So
I was the same, mate. I was thinking, oh, come on, more people have died from the flu this year and all this sort of stuff. But look how rapidly people are getting all around the world, mate. It's tragic, really, mate. It's going to be in the history books for sure.
Yeah, I think the wake-up call was young people were saying, oh, it won't affect me anyway, which is a bad attitude to have anyway.
Yeah.
And when young people started getting it, I think that was the wake-up call, and people are starting to take it seriously now.
Blaming it's only the old people that are going to get affected, all that sort of stuff, isn't it? But as you said, the youngsters are getting it.
Members that are older, my dad falls into the category of the high at risk. So it's a bad attitude to have on behalf of younger people. But I think they're just starting to realise now it's not, it's quite serious now. So.
Well, everyone's doing their bit at the moment. I'm watching all the fighters at the time. They're all staying at home. They're all doing their bit. The people I follow, including yourself. So first of all, I want to ask you, how are you feeling as like a gym owner who's in the gym day in, day out, training, competing? What's it like for you just being stuck in the house? Is it a relief or is it a bit stressful?
Well, I mean, I work at Kettles. I don't own it, unfortunately, but it's same sort of thing. It's we're all keeping in contact with the guys from the gym, and we're all in the same boat, and you've just got to take it day by day. I'm just trying to keep myself occupied and, still training and going running and doing what I can do indoors. But, you're obviously limited. But, like I say, everyone's in the same boat. So,
Have you made any of these like makeshift sort of training equipment at home and stuff like that, which I'm seeing all over Facebook at the moment? People lifting all sorts of things.
You know what? When the lockdown sort of happened, I thought, I wish I had, a few sets of weights or something that I brought back with me indoors. I've literally got, nothing. But, I can still, if you're imaginative, and you can still get a good workout indoors, just using body weight exercises. You can go running. There's a few things you can do. You've got to adapt to it.
That's it. And again, got to abide by the rules. They're saying like an hour a day you can train for outside and things like that. But I'm sure everyone's doing a couple of hours here and there.
Yeah, I think it's more just keeping yourself separate from other people. Obviously, if you keep going out over and over and over again, you've got more risk of, coming face to face with other people, I suppose. So I understand what they're saying. But yeah, I've been only going out once a day, to be honest, maybe twice if, go out to walk the baby or, but yeah, just sticking to their guidelines, what they're saying, everyone should be doing it. So hopefully everyone does, and we get through it on the other side,
Yeah. Well, it's nice as well, because obviously you can spend a bit more time at home with the little one now as well. It's nice spending a bit of time with the family as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've even bought an Xbox. I haven't played an Xbox since I was like 12, 13. So, I've been on Crash Bandicoot for 6 days straight. So
standard.
You get, I get to spend more time with my daughter as well, and do things I wouldn't normally do. So you just got to, some people haven't got anyone, so you got, count yourself lucky.
No, you're right. You are right in that indeed. But I see a lot of people are having these video chat parties now and all sorts of things. So it's good these sort of things available and people keep chatting to each other. So not saying that, you haven't got good willpower, but what's stopping stuffing your face at home and, trying to keep the weight down?
No, this is the hardest bit at the moment. Honestly, it's crazy because you're just doing it out of boredom, really. Where I'm so, active normally, and I'm a person, I need my routine. So I know I've got to, go to the gym, do my work, train. I like a routine. So being indoors is just eating out of boredom, So I'm just making sure that I'm still training and keeping relatively fit. But it's a struggle, definitely.
Yeah, I bet. I was thinking, I thought, oh, I'm hungry. I fancy a takeaway, but I thought there's definitely no takeaways open, but they're still going, aren't they?
I think a
I
few
think
of
they should
them
put
are
a ban
still
on
going.
takeaways.
Yeah, yeah. I think a few of them are still going, but it's you go around to the shop and you're buying loads of snacks and yeah, it's easy done, mate. If you sit indoors and you're bored, it's very easy to just sit and eat.
No, I know the feeling. I'm trying to keep myself busy as well, and thank you for taking the time to come out. It's a good time to chat to you guys because you're all sitting at home. Heads are clear. Your heads aren't like getting ready for fights or cutting weight or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. No one really
So
knows the future at the moment. So
we could be here for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, but you know,
yeah, I think it would be a few months. Yeah.
oh well, take it day by day, mate. Just look after yourself, look after your family, and same goes for everyone else out there.
Sure, it's all you can do.
So obviously, let's changing the subject a bit. You had your last show recently, show at the O2 Arena. I'm sorry, the O2 Indigo.
Yeah.
Okay, so just talk us through how that went. How did
Uh,
the show go?
it honestly couldn't have gone any better. And that was down to obviously having, good fights and good people involved in the show. But yeah, the card was brilliant. All the fighters lived up to it and put on good fights. And yeah, I couldn't have been any more pleased, to be honest with you. I mean, we just started releasing the fights on YouTube now, so people start seeing them. But with all what's happened on, it's almost like forgotten that we had a show. It's crazy because at the time we literally got in just in time before this outbreak happened. So, but yeah, looking back on it, I was watching all the fights in the last few days, and yeah, it's really really good show. Couldn't have gone any better.
No, see, there was some fans on. You had some good K1 fights. I see Tom Kurt picked up another title, and so how many fights did you have on that whole evening?
Well, we split it with it's almost like two shows. My partner runs the boxing side of it, so
Yep.
he had about I think he had about 15 bouts on, and then I think I had about 15. So it was, it was a lot of fights in the night, but we basically split it in two parts. He had the boxing show first, and then I take over, and we had the Thai boxing in K1. So we find that works for us, and yeah, some really good fights on there.
How do you work something like that then? So did he start at like midday or something, and then a 2 hour break, then on
Yeah,
something
so
like that?
we didn't really have a break because we was obviously a bit short for time. I mean, we could start at 1 o'clock, so we knew that it was going to be a little bit tight. So we started the first fight about 1:30.
Hmm.
I think we just finished just on time about 9:30. So it literally went right through. There weren't really any breaks. So, but it ran really smoothly, and that's down to the people that we have working with us. Yeah, and like I say, it couldn't have gone any better.
I know you definitely picked up some good fighters. Very professional. They're all making weight, they're all turning up on time, and obviously putting on fantastic performances as well. And we've got to think this was only what we're talking about now, less than 3 weeks ago, not even. This happened,
Mm.
and look where we are now. Like you said, like how lucky, if anything, do you feel that you managed to get that squeezed in just before all this madness happened of shutting down events?
Well, yeah, definitely feel lucky. I know that's probably quite a selfish thing to say, really, given the fact what has happened and what is
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, in a way, because we managed to get it in there, but it took me away from what was actually happening because I was so focused on this show. Um, when this fire was going on, you almost forgotten about it because I was so focused on the show. And then when it ended, it was almost like, wow, it's really at home now. So we did literally get it in just on time. I know some other shows that are happening at the Indigo, they've obviously been cancelled, and
Yeah.
no one knows really when we can get back in there.
Yeah, I know that's a shame. It's a shame a lot of events getting cancelled, but again, obviously for all very good reasons, and
100%.
keep everyone's best interests as well. At the end of tech sport, so that's what they keep telling us. You can't really keep 2 meters apart, can you, in a cage or in a ring? So
Well, this is it. I mean, we had a show scheduled for April the 11th, and obviously, that was obviously cancelled. We've got another one scheduled for August, and then another one for December. But really, it's just playing it like say day by day, and see how long we're in this situation for.
what's the reactions from some of the fighters then? That obviously the situation going on, they may have been matched for the fights up and coming with that in the year. What are their reactions to all this?
I think it's more for the April show. Obviously, was going to happen quite soon. So there was a few bouts that we've matched up, but they understand. Obviously, it's this is something that's completely out of our hands. It's a global thing, so it's happening everywhere. As for the August show, we've still got, you know, fights lined up for that, and even that, you know, if we're in this situation for a little bit longer than what we think, it could even affect that show as well. So it
Yeah.
really is just playing it day by day, and you know, see where it takes us.
Do you think, like, what worries me is I'm worried that this madness that's going on, I say madness, but you know what I mean, it's legit madness, but I'm worried that with all this going on, even later on in the year, are people going to want to be avoiding large crowds even after they say, yeah, you're safe to go back out again now?
Well, this is it. I mean, even the August show, you know, a few people say, "Oh, we'll be all right by August." I thought this is going to be something that I think will last the rest of the year. Not so much in terms of being on lockdown and stuff like that. It's the after effects. What I think is going to, you know, take its toll. So even though we might be allowed back out soon, it's
Yeah.
the safety measures that are going to be, you know, put in place. And I think it's not just going to happen overnight. It's going to be, this is in for the long haul, I think, and it will be the rest of the year. So it really is just taking it day by day and listening to what the guidelines are and what they're saying that we can do, you know, and what we're allowed to do.
Well, yeah, as I said, it could honestly, it's affecting all sports. Like, it's definitely, people need to take it seriously because look, they don't just cancel the Euros for nothing till next year. They don't look to postpone the Olympics for nothing, you know. So literally, just to postpone anyone from attending any gatherings or whatever throughout the rest of the year isn't really that unlikely.
No, 100%. I mean, I'm a big football fan, and they've stopped the football as well, obviously. And yeah, people, you know, you've got to take it seriously now. It was before this, it was almost like, well, because it was happening in another country, people just think, oh, you know, when it gets here, it might not be that bad, and you know, once the summer happened, it'll kill the virus, and it's people being naive to it, really. And it's only now I think people are starting to realise it's a bit more serious than what they thought. So I'm hoping everyone, you know, takes it on board and sticks to what they're saying to do, and hopefully we, you know, come through it quicker than what we think.
That's it. We can only hope for the best, mate. We can only hope for the best, and especially us lot in the us in the MMA world sort of thing. We're looking at another cancelled Khabib versus Tony Ferguson fight for the 5th time. I don't know if you've been following any of that at all.
Yeah.
So they cancel their fights in the States at the moment, and it's just a bit of a crazy one. But again, you know, for yourself who trains in the gym and you know because you work in the gym, any other job apart from working kettles?
No, it's just the promoting and the teaching, really.
Yeah,
There's stuff, you know, I've got an equipment website as well.
nice.
So there's stuff that I can be doing on that. But even that sort of side of it, you know, I can get orders ready. But I think the postal service and stuff like that's going to be affected soon. So, you know, I'm still working on ideas for the show and you know, coming up with new matches and stuff like that. But yeah, very limited, to be honest. But just trying to keep busy, really. But yeah.
There's only so many times you can complete Crash Bandicoot, mate. You know.
You know, even I went and picked up a guitar the other day. I haven't played a guitar since I was 11, and I just started, you know, just doing silly stuff that, you know, I'd never normally do. But you've got to keep the brain active, you know. Otherwise, it's a long time to be stuck indoors, obviously. So you've got to keep yourself busy.
And as you said, mate, at least you've got people there to keep you company. And unfortunately, some people aren't as lucky as that, you know. So I'm sure your little one's keeping you busy.
Oh yeah, she will. Yeah, you got to count yourself lucky because, like I said, some people haven't got anyone, and it's not nice to be stuck indoors for, you know, however long we're going to be stuck in for. So you've got to come up with new stuff to do and be a little bit creative with it.
I know. I wish I was as creative as what some people are because I find myself now just sitting in front of a TV, just getting fat. Now, you know, this is the problem for me.
Easily done. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm thinking, am I hungry? I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. So now I'm just necking glasses of water all the time, just trying to use that as something to do. You know, otherwise I'm going to be smoking hundreds of cigarettes, doing obviously, and things like that. And it's just tough out there. But I have seen quite a few fighters though and stuff putting YouTube videos on and stuff like live training video. Is that something you possibly looked into? But I guess again, you've got quite a lot of home to deal with, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I've still, you know, got loads of time on my hands, but it's something I put up a clip the other day of a little training routine I've done indoors. But yeah, I'm actually thinking of doing a few videos in the course of the next week or two, just to keep everyone else motivated as well, because you start seeing them videos and seeing that people are still training and still doing things, it gives you a little bit of a kick up the arse to do something yourself, you know.
No, I bet. And I bet a lot of people in your gym, as said, would appreciate that as well. They know you're still around. They know you're not dead. You are still their trainer.
And this is, you know, I think the interacting with people is important now, because, you know, like I said, when some people haven't got anyone, that interaction is important. You know, it keeps you. This is not just your physical health; it's your mental health as well at the moment. So it's important. It's important. So
that's it. And again, as I said, mental health a lot. You know, a lot of people who you can see, actually, a lot of people out there say this is no different to me, which is quite sad, you know, to hear. Like, they're so used to being on their own all the time and being in isolation in the same lifestyle they had before. You know, it's just sad to hear, you know, sometimes, which is nice why you have gyms like yourself, you know, where people can get out and go and train. Hence why I was asking, you know, how your fighters and how your students feeling at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's I think that feeling again of everyone being in the same boat makes it a little bit easier. Not a lot, obviously, but I think sitting here myself, I'm itching to hit pads. I'm itching to, you know, to go shopping or do the silly things that you take for granted. But
yeah,
no, you in them times you can't, you know, be so selfish and think you're the only one in that situation. Everyone's in the same situation. So I think that's why, you know, the social media, the Instagram things and the videos on Facebook is probably quite important, just to keep everyone positive and motivated. But again, it's the positive side that I would, you know, get people to do, because there's a lot of negative stuff on there at the moment, and rightly so. People are dying and it's a bad situation, but people are forgetting the positive things as well, you know. There was people, you know, I think there was a guy 103 years old recovered from this, and that wasn't on the newspaper, that wasn't on the front page of things. It should, you know, the positive stuff should shine through as well as all the negative stuff, you know.
No, I agree. I know someone who sits there watching BBC News all day and they're literally shaking with fear every day. I said, well, you need to stop watching the news every second of the day. Otherwise, that's all you're going to think about. And it is, I'm not trying to say the news is trying to scare us and things like that, but obviously they want to sell newspapers, they want to sell articles, you know, things like that. So it's not good to sit there watching it.
I never used to watch the news, and I made a conscious effort of, I always sort of live in my own little bubble, you know. I find it a little bit negative, and it's always bad stuff when you watch it anyway. So in the past, I've never really watched the news, but now I've got time on my hands. I find myself sitting there, and they've got, you know, like a account of the viruses, the cases that have been confirmed, the people that are dying, and I find myself sitting there, you know, watching it all day, and I think I've got to turn it off, because it is, you know, I think they should broadcast a lot of the positive stuff as well, the people that are recovering, and, you know, the places that are reopening again in China. And you can't always just slam that negative stuff down people's throats, because there are people that are suffering with like mental health issues and stuff like that, and it's no good for them sort of guys. And I think the positive stuff does need to stay out there as well, you know.
No, 100%. You're only reading every now and then you read posts about how many people have actually recovered from it. Like, people don't mention how many people have recovered from this. So that's a lot, you know, in comparison to how many get it. You know, not many, even though one too many actually die opposed to how many get it. And they don't talk about that as much. And what I like what you were saying is, you know, think about the positives, and if there is any positives, to say this is a good thing in a way that maybe this will make people think more and take things more seriously, maybe take hygiene more seriously as well, you know, because look how quickly this spread. We have something called the common cold. It just shows you how quick viruses spread. Do you think this will make everyone better people in the long run?
I think it will. I think it's things that people take for granted. Like I just said, you know, like getting in your car and going to the shops is, you know, something you take for granted because it's something you do every day. So I think, well, I hope that when this is over, people do start, you know, just appreciating life a little bit more, because once it's taken away from you, that's the only time that you probably do not appreciate it as much, or you. So I think people will, especially hygiene as well. I think there was an article on, I can't remember what country it was now, but why their rate was so low, and they're saying, you know, their hygiene's a lot better than the UK and other places that are getting it really high. So hopefully that, you know, plays a part as well.
I think it will. I think people will start thinking about things more. I just hope people don't get a bit too over paranoid after this is all over and keep trying to, if you walk too close to someone, you know, like a permanent law of keeping 2 meters apart, you know, which be interesting to see if it sticks. Imagine that at a football game, sitting 2 meters.
Very hard to do, isn't it? Really, like it's only now when people start having to do it. I mean, I queued up for the shops a couple of days ago, and you almost forget. So you know, I went to walk straight in, and the woman said no, 2 meters back, and it's, you know, it's good that they're enforcing it, because that is what we have to do. But me myself, I obviously just, you know, forgot, because it's not the normal thing to do. So people have got to adapt and change, and you know, it's important.
I know we're actually being policed and military, like it's like military law, isn't it, all over the bloody streets at the moment?
It's crazy.
There's people going for drives and getting stopped on the street by the old bill, asking them where they're. It's like, well, I'm just going to go to the shop. But if you say, oh, I'm just going to go, I don't know, go for a walk around a field, they'll be like, well, here's a £30 fine. You know, it's mental.
And I think that had to be enforced, because when it first started happening, I mean, some of the guys in the UK just weren't listening at all, and you know, there was big groups of people on the beach still, big groups in the park, and I think now they're just starting to realise that you have got to stay indoors and you have got to listen to it. And I think I read the other day that the police busted a karaoke party like last week, and I think, you know,
what's wrong with people?
Well, I don't understand what's wrong with these guys. You know, there's people, you know, it's people dying. You know, it's a matter of life and death. So you've got to take it seriously, and you're always going to get idiots out there and morons. But it's, you know, unfortunately that's society today. But I think now people are starting to take it a bit more seriously.
No, I agree. And as much as people may love or not like the government we have, I think they've done the best they can, offering people money back, you know, 80% of people's wages. Yeah,
I think they're doing all right. This was, you know, I mean, I'm self-employed, as a lot of people are as well. So obviously I thought, oh no, like, again, it's a selfish thing to think about when people are dying out there, but you have to be a little bit selfish with stuff like that, because, you know, I've got bills to pay and family to support. So but with what the schemes that they're providing, and, you know, providing 80% of your wages and stuff like that, I think it could have been a lot worse. They're you know, they're not doing a bad job, I don't think. As much stick as they're getting, I think they're doing all right.
Even Boris took one for the team, took on COVID-19 himself, it looks like, just to show how serious it is.
People are so shocked that these guys, you know, the health secretary got it as well, and people are really shocked that they got it. But these guys are shaking hands with people that are, you know, been from all over the world. So it's not, you know, this virus, I think, was probably around before what they thought it was. And these guys are rubbing shoulders with people from all over. So I think they were probably more, you know, quite high at risk to getting it anyway, to be honest. I wasn't really shocked that he had got it, to be honest.
No, it's sad. It's sad, but as I said, luckily we live in a world age. You and me can sit here from our houses and have a conversation. He can do the same thing with all his board. You know, it's actually interesting watching the news where the press are all on a TV screen asking questions, which is, you know, it's really, as I said, I'm 33 years old, and it's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. You know, it's.
No, I mean, no one would. I mean, you know, I see. I quite like Piers Morgan, to be honest with you, and I watch a lot of what he says, because he's, you know, he says it how it is. But he said he just don't understand. You know, you guys are being told to sit indoors for a couple of months and watch TV. When you go back to, you know, World War II and all these wars that are going on, people are being asked to go, you know, put their lives on the line, and people not seeing their family, and horrific things happening, and we're just getting asked to sit indoors. Really, it's not. It really ain't the end of the world. It's
exactly
it's going out there. So
a lot of people about asked to sit indoors in the wartime. You know, they hear the air raid siren, and in the house close the curtains. You know, they're getting bombed. You know, that's why they had to stay indoors. We're getting told to stay indoors just to stop touching people. You know, stop contact. And they're going to pay us, exactly.
Yeah, it's really not as, you know, as bad as what people are making it out. You know, I think I saw I think it was Sam Smith, the singer, you know, like crying indoors, and I thought, you know, absolute idiot. You know, you've got people like, say, you know, that are dying from this, and people, when you go back to, you know, World War II times and World War One, people losing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of lives. And you've got idiots like that crying on TV because they've got to stay indoors in their mansion. You know, there's people who really got to put things in perspective when something like this happens.
And unfortunately, the younger generation will say, not even the current generation will see that sort of thing and think, oh no, he's depressed. That means we must be depressed as well.
Yeah, 100%. And this is where society goes wrong, unfortunately. But, you know,
well, you know, It is what it is, man. Well, I really hope for the best for the year for you and your shows coming up, mate. You know, you put on great events all the time. You know, you keep it frequent, you keep it mixed up. Lots of different disciplines, which is always nice to see as well. And honestly, mate, I really hope it all works out for you and your family in the year, and that all this stuff just ends. You know, we finally get over all this.
It will. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Sure.
No worries, mate. Well, Rory, I won't take any more of your time. Not as if not that you don't have loads of it. You know.
Yeah, I'm going to go and play the Xbox now anyway. So.
Well, if you want anyone to play online with you, shout out your name now, isn't it?
Well, you know what? I don't even know the name on it, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely.
No worries. But everyone, make sure you check out Rory's Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of training videos and stuff of him on there. You might be able to get some inspiration and do something yourself.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, Rory, again, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate you being the first ever guest on the show, you know, and going forward, I'm sure we'll be speaking again on the show, mate.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, mate. See you later.